All right, we're live, everybody. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. I have a very special guest on today. His name is Regis, and he has made $1 trillion by listening to Jeremy Lefebvre.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, he's well, I guess we'll introduce him, but he hasn't made a lot of money off Jeremy, but he's made pretty good money doing stuff that I preach, like, I don't know, buying mutual funds and maxing your tax advantage accounts. Anyway, welcome, Regis.
Thanks for having me. Enjoy your channel.
So how long have you been subscribed to the greatest channel ever, Strongman?
Like a month, maybe? Not that long, but I've ripped through your videos in a very short amount of time.
How did you discover the almighty Strongman Personal Finance?
I don't even know, to be honest. I think I was watching a different video on something else, and it kind of popped up, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what is these goofy thumbnails? I'm like,
yeah,
this guy is a cocky a-hole. I'm like, I'll dig it.
I know it's kind of unique on YouTube, but most of the guys, like with a lot of personal finance channels, I think they're kind of boring. They're just like, oh, buy this stock and mutual funds are good, and here's how you save money. So I was like, I'm going to do all that, but I'm going to be obnoxious on top of that.
I always thought there's a missing piece of the puzzle because everyone's like, yeah, everyone's so bullish on everything, and everyone's watch my channel and do this, and like nobody's calling these people out or checking up on their supposed 8x stocks that they recommend buy now, blah blah blah. So it's like when I saw you doing that, I'm like, finally someone's just like calling these people out. And I love the people that comment saying like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Lefebvre is like the most genius investor since Warren Buffett,
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, you should listen to some of his bull theses that he has. Like, oh, it's people aren't going to wear masks anymore, so yeah, the guy's a moron. But yeah, like I'm actually shocked too. I think a lot of people are just scared, terrified, or scared to go after big channels because people will leave mean comments in their videos. But like, I don't give a crap. Somebody leaves a mean comment, I think it's hilarious. I actually laugh. So you gotta have to have like thick skin or be really confident in what you believe in if you want to go on YouTube.
Yeah, I bet.
Cool. So the main reason we brought you on is I wanted to show my audience how you can build a lot of wealth simply by maxing your tax advantage accounts and not buying a bunch of stupid 10x stocks. Yeah. So tell us about your investing journey, like when you first learned about investing, and then we'll kind of walk through your life and what you're doing now to build your wealth.
All right. So I started out dead broke loser, debt. After high school, I went to a trade school. So I'm a trade school product. And after that, I moved to Florida for a job from Michigan. So I had student loan debt, I had credit card debt. I had a $500 rusted out pickup truck that got me to Florida for about a year. I got more debt by buying a brand new Ford Ranger. This is 2007, which I still drive today. So at least
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So first 3 years, blowing all my money. So I turned 21 when I was down there, Florida. So cigarettes, alcohol, bars, casinos, money in, money out. Never had any education in finance. Both my parents were teachers, so they just relied on their unions to handle their retirement. So I never had any help there. A couple of years later, my uncle, I think, told me, he's like, you got to open up a Roth IRA, blah, blah, blah. So I had a little bit of money saved up. So I started a Roth when I was 21, 22. Didn't start maxing that out until I think I was 25. Yeah, so the first 3 years, no 401k, a little bit of Roth. Paid off my student loan debt. Still had some credit card debt. I took another job.
Did you not have a 401k at work or something, or you just like didn't contribute to it?
Didn't contribute to it. I think it was really good too, if I remember right. But just didn't know. I was also starting out fresh, so I think I was only making like 40 grand a year or something. So
yeah, still, I mean, like a lot of people don't know about that stuff at all, But the sad thing is they go on YouTube and nobody freaking talks about it. All they talk about is hype stocks. So luckily you had your uncle. I don't know if is your uncle like in financial planning or something, or does he just know about investing?
No, he's actually a retired veterinarian, so I think he knows like money management well because him and his wife did well on that. So 2008, I moved to Tampa from West Palm Beach for a new job. That's when I got into the 401k for the first time, but only the match, I think 6%. That's when I bought a house, a dilapidated, foreclosed $100,000 house outside of Tampa.
Oh, so you bought like right in the middle of the recession, so you got like a good deal.
Yeah, but I've had to put in a bunch of money into it. But I still live here. I paid this house off in 2019.
Ooh.
So its value's probably 220 to 250 because the market's so hot here anyway. Let's see. So started traveling with that job for a long time, able to save a lot of money. Dave Ramsey was my sister bought me the Dave Ramsey book, right? Total Money Makeover.
Mm-hmm.
Classic, but I followed it like to the T way too much where, I paid off the consumer debt, like my truck and whatnot. And then instead of maxing out my 401k, and I didn't have an HSA because I didn't know what that was at the time. I went heavy into my house, which I only had like a 2.9% interest rate. So mistake number one, not getting in 401k when I first started working. Mistake number two, listening to old Dave Grandpa Ramsey about paying off your house early instead of investing it in like the craziest bull market we ever had.
Yeah. So have you ever tried to calculate how much money you could have had you invested in stocks instead of instead of your house?
So so going, let's say when I had the house, the truck debt, all that, I was probably at a negative net worth of probably like $120,000. Today, with the home equity, I have a net worth about $800,000, no debt at all, free and clear. If it wasn't for some of my earlier mistakes, I guarantee I'd have $1 million net worth. If it wasn't for all the partying in my 20s, not starting 401k earlier, and then making the mistake of paying my house off too soon.
I mean, maybe you're still doing like you got more money than I do by far. I mean, I probably have like a $400,000 net worth. I mean, I got divorced, but even then, you still have a decent chunk of money more than I do. Which you're not allowed to have more money on my channel.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna have to first for everything.
You're gonna have to leave. No, I'm just kidding. But no.
Remember, awesome. I think investments it's like 560,000. The rest is the home equity.
So have you always been like, are you middle class or like a high earner? Like
Perfect.
For most of your life, how much have you made roughly?
So I'm blue collar.
You don't have to be exact, but
I'm blue collar, man. I still wear work boots, steel toe work boots every day to work. And most of the first few years, like 40,000, 50, 60, back down to 50. I think now the last 3 years I moved to my current company, which has been the best, which I think my base salary is around, I think I started at 75. Now I'm up to around 80, 81, but I can also get a bunch of overtime that can boost it to about 100. If I really want to kill myself, like the last few years I have this year, I'm kind of cutting back on the overtime.
Yes. Cause I always hear people on YouTube tell me that, if you're just an average guy, there's no possible way you could save enough money and get wealthy quickly. I'm not sure I believe you, Regis. This is very odd.
It's 90% behavioral, right? Like I said, the old truck, I still drive my 2007 Ford Ranger. My wife got in a car accident 3 or 4 years ago, and instead of going out and buying her something new, we paid, I think, $3,500 for a Chrysler Sebring that had 100,000 miles on it, still running. I'm somewhat of a car mechanic myself, so we do most of the repairs here. I don't work on cars for a living. I work on cranes, actually, but I can work on cars too.
So you're telling me if you're frugal and you don't spend a lot of money on cars or a big house, you actually have a lot of income available to invest. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, I think I live off of only. So maxing out starting last year, I was able to max out Roth IRA, 401k, Am I missing one? HSA this year. Am I missing anyone? I think it's the 3.
That should, yeah. I mean, those are the big 3. I mean, like I don't have a high deductible health plan, so sadly I don't have an HSA. But the other main 2 options are the IRA and the 401k.
Yeah, so like the Roth is pretty simple, right? $6,000. The 401k is a little more tricky, 19.5. That took a little getting used to. The paycheck definitely shrunk down, but
yeah, I just started doing that about a year ago. It's pretty big chunk.
Yeah, but you get used to it though, right? Like I'm not one of them like gotta pull yourself up by the bootstraps hardcore like that, but you can definitely cut back on expenses. I use another Dave Ramsey Every Dollar app or tracker. One of his budget tools is probably my favorite. So if you see where all your money's going, you can trim here and there. I mean, me and my wife still spend probably way too much going out to eat, but it's our guilty pleasure.
I mean, that's just like me. I mean, but honestly, if you're maxing your IRA, your 401k, and your HSA, you can do whatever you want, in my opinion. It's okay if you go out to eat.
So, so last year maxed that out. This year I just got into the HSA. I wish I would have started sooner because I never really. I don't know. We don't use the doctor much. I'm like, I don't want whatever. I want that. But then I'm like, shit, I got to start taking down my my AGI, for taxes and make sure we're not going over the limit so I can still put into a Roth with my wife's salary. So, but yeah, the HSA is great too. Another mistake I wish I would have started 4 years ago.
So are you, does she have like a 401k and all that and IRA? So is she like maxing that too?
No, she still has a little bit of student loans. So she's taking, again, like I've still got the Dave Ramsey mentality, like, because right now all the student loan debt's at 0%. So I'm like, just keep flooding money towards that. And then because I'm maxing out my stuff, we can bump. I think she's getting the max though. So
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with like student loans, for example. Like I guess there's 0 right now, but they're going to probably go up eventually, right?
Yeah, I think they extended it again until January, but I think that's like the final kicking the can down the road, and everyone's hoping like, oh, they might suspend it, right? He ain't gonna suspend.
No, they're not going to cancel student loans. No, I mean, like Dave Ramsey, there's nothing wrong with Dave Ramsey for a lot of things. Like his debt stuff is very great. The main reason I disagree with him is, number one, he tells you to pay off your house early, which with historical interest rates, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like you're not dead. I mean, you're doing great.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're killing it. But like you said, you could have made more investing. That's just how it is. But I mean, it's not like you're dying. So that's one thing that I disagree with Dave Ramsey. And the other thing is he always tells you to do like actively managed mutual funds, which are very expensive. But I mean,
yeah. So I got my 401k is in 100% in FDGRX, which is high expense. I think it's expense ratio 0.83. It is very high, but I'm looking to get out of it because it did do well in the last couple of years with this crazy run up.
Because that's a U.S. Is that like a large cap U.S. growth?
Yeah.
That's actually, I mean, like, even though you have a high expense ratio, U.S. growth has outperformed. So
it has, it's outperformed its like indexes, but it's still like, I think I showed you the math earlier. I'm paying like $1,300 a year in fees just on that account. The Roth is in FBGRX, which is basically the same. I think one has more NVIDIA than the other, and that's 0.79. Again, paying about $1,000 a year in fees in that. And I got some old 401k that I got 0.43. So like altogether, I'm paying like $2,500 a year in fees.
Woo!
Yeah, man. Put that into the old compounding calculator. And then the numbers so big. Like I'm like, if I keep doing this for like 10 years, I'll would have spent $40,000 in 20 years, $120,000. So I'm like,
yeah, those fees freaking wreck you, man. Especially like the higher your balance gets, the more they just eat away at your returns. Like it's hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades.
Yeah, so I'm looking to my work's choices aren't that great, but I think there's one there I can at least get down to like 0.1 at least. But I gotta shop around a little bit. So yeah, that's that, maxing everything out. Still had some money left over, right? Because I'm a cheap ass. Still driving old beater vehicles and stuff. So
Well, then that's how you build wealth, man. Like I'm actually proud. So I have a paid off Ford Fiesta. The freaking door handle has ripped off. Like I have to like pull the side cup holder to close my door, and there's like little pieces falling off of my car, and I'm proud of it because the car's paid off. My insurance is like
cheap.
it's like $40 a month, and then because I don't have like comprehensive or collision, and then I can just use all the extra money from work to invest, which is why I'm able to max my stuff just like you're able to, which is what I'm trying to get across to these people. But, people don't believe me. Oh, if you make a middle-class salary, you can't build wealth. Well, obviously you're showing that to be complete BS.
It takes a while, right? Like once I hit, it takes so long to get like the first 100,000 or so. And then after that, you really start to see the compounding take action. And now like, I think I just hit the 500,000 mark in June. And then the other day it was 560 just a few months later. And I think last year I hit 300,000. I mean, yeah, a lot of that's because the market's fucking crazy, but like,
we've been in a crazy bull market, but even then, because like what are you like 34, 35, something like that?
34.
Yeah, I mean, but even then, like you have tons of time if the market crashes, because if it crashes, you're going to be buying more and more and more stuff on the cheap. So I mean, you're almost guaranteed to be a millionaire as long as you stick to it. But you're freaking killing it, man.
Lifestyle inflation does creep up. If you're 32, a couple years younger than I.
Yeah, I'm 32. In 7 days, I expect a birthday present.
When is that? The 19th?
19th. Yep.
What is it? Oh, there it is. So, so I still had some money left over. The house got a lot of updates. We did the roof, the windows, carpet, some more big projects. So, like, I didn't have a lot of like money to keep pouring into the house. So I had like a high savings yield account at my bank for like 1%. So I had like 20, 30 grand sitting around in there. And I'm like, I got to put this money to work somehow. And I wasn't very good with stocks and fundamental analysis and stuff. I was a little wary of it, So I dabbled in that, got on YouTube a little bit, met your buddy Lafufu, watched some of his stuff.
Yeah, I want to hear more about your YouTube journey. Like, tell me, like, when you first got on there, who your first, fanboys or your first heroes were.
Yeah. All right. So all the boring stuff is done, right? Yes, you can do all your. And the only book you need.
Oh, guys, I did not pay him to do this. Okay.
All right. Where's my $20?
Before he bought this book, he had $0, and then as soon as he bought this book, suddenly he had hundreds of thousands of dollars saved. It's a miracle.
Seriously, like comparing this to Dave Ramsey's, I think I read it in two sittings. I was going to get you on something because I didn't read like the index. I'm like, oh, you missed a part. But then I got to chapter 15 about taking care of your health. I'm like, dang.
I know. Aren't I just perfect? Yeah. I actually do want to modify the book. I might update the book. So I want to actually talk about like, total world indexes and stuff like that, which I didn't really hit on too much in there because I didn't want to be too specific about like giving specific investment advice, but I might update the book going forward.
It's such a quick, easy read. Like I was thumbing through Dave Ramsey's again. I haven't opened it in years, but it's just like it drags on, and there's stories of these people you don't know. And it's just like, just get to the point. Like read through this, you're good to go. Some of it I didn't read because it's like credit scores and shit I don't really care about. So like I skipped some of it. But...
You didn't read every word?
No, I skipped the credit score.
Wow, you're banned. No, so I mean, with my book, there's like a lot of I'm kind of cruel or harsh in some of it, so it doesn't appeal to everybody. But
yeah. When you call people broke losers because they're $1,200 stimmy checks.
Yeah. So if you're very sensitive, you're not going to like my book. But
yeah.
Thanks for shouting out my book. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. So yeah, stonks to the moon.
Jeremy Lafufu. I want to hear about your YouTube adventures.
All right. Oh man, Lafufu. I watched him for a while. Really thought he knew his stuff. Who was the other one? I never really gotten to meet Kevin. I tried, but like he just like reads charts, and he's like, "Oh, this is going up. This is going down." I'm like, what's up with this guy? I think it was really just Jeremy. I didn't watch a ton. There was one guy I liked, JKR Investing, a much smaller channel. But like he got on the same thing about pumping Tattooed Chef and Corsair Gaming. I'm like, come on! Out of 3,000 some stocks, why do you all have to talk about the same 2 or 3 companies?
Because I have a theory. I think they talk about what the ads pay the most. Because I noticed, like, I made a video about Corsair, and it only got a couple hundred views, but I got like $3 of ad revenue. I was like, wow. And then I made a video about another thing, and it was like 50 cents of ad revenue. Yeah. So I think a lot of the times they might just be talking about the stocks that potentially give them more ad revenue. That's a theory I have.
I completely agree. So that just goes to show they're just in, like, for the money, for the views. They don't really believe in these companies, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, so did you buy any stocks from Lafufu or anybody else?
Sorry?
Did you buy any stocks that were recommended by like any of the YouTubers, and like kind of what happened?
Man, I bought some first before I even started YouTube, because the funny story, we were actually on a cruise right before the crash, and we had our phones off and everything. We kind of knew this coronavirus thing, but it wasn't major, so we turned off all of our phones, and we come back on the cruise, come back into Cape Canaveral. Like, we turn on the news, and it's like Disney's canceled, all sports canceled. Like, we came back to an apocalypse, right? It was nuts. The cruise ship next to us was about to disembark on their voyage. They had everybody on board, people drinking, partying, and they had to kick everybody off.
Man, so you got done at the perfect time, basically. Before,
yeah, we were like,
and you're lucky you didn't get locked down on that boat, man. Imagine if somebody had the virus.
Yeah, we were worried, like, we got to get off this ship now. So, I was like, I got this money laying around. Let me look up cruise line stocks. So I looked up CCL. I think went from like $60 to $8 or something, right? I got in at like $8.12. Stupid Norwegian. And these are short-term plays, right? This is before I really got to know about the capital gains issues. So I dibbled a little bit here and there. I got some like Raytheon for some reason. I don't own anything now that I held like 2 years ago. I mean, and I only have 6 stocks now. I think even when I emailed you, I sold out of Palantir and some other short-term play.
Whew, I'm really happy. Even if Palantir goes up, I'm glad you sold out of that company.
Yeah, and with a profit too, with about $400.
So was that the first time you ever bought individual stocks? Because to be honest, like I always did index funds until 2020, and that's when I first bought my first stock.
I think I did it once before, like a long time ago, just to like see how the Fidelity. I'm a Fidelity guy. That's just to see how it works and kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
So let's see, that worked out well. And I got on the YouTube. Well, we got quarantined from work because someone on the ship, Norwegian, contacted us. I'm like, hey, someone on the ship tested positive. So I showed up to work after first day back to work, and I'm like, they're like, you have to go home. I'm like, do I get paid? They're like, yeah. I'm like, sweet.
Did they make you telework, or you just went home and got paid?
I can't really telework because I like physically fix cranes that offload ships. So like, I can't really do much.
So you just got paid, basically.
Yeah. To be a degenerate loser and start getting into stocks. So thanks, coronavirus.
So were you only on Fidelity, or did you download Robinhood?
Nope, Fidelity only. Never tried anything else.
Yeah, because I was just so crazy into index funds, and then my friend was like, "Hey, I just bought this stock on Robinhood." I'm like, "What is that?" Because I didn't even know how to buy an individual stock. So Robinhood was the first thing that I downloaded, and that's how I freaking figured out how to buy a stock. That's how like little of individual stocks I bought. It was always freaking index funds.
I mean, a big thing, and I never got into it, is because I remember Fidelity would charge you like $8 or $10 per transaction, per trade. So it's like, that was crazy. I mean, that was like 10 years ago or something. Like, I remember they would charge you for that, doing that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I learned. Like when I first started reading about all this stuff, I was like, oh my God, every time you buy a stock, you got to pay a fee. I mean, Robinhood gets money. They just do it on the back end. But even then, that's kind of ridiculous how much they used to charge. So I'm glad that went away.
Yeah, but then it opened the floodgates for, the Wall Street bets and everything, which is fine. I followed Wall Street bets early on Reddit, watching that stuff too.
Yeah. Did you buy any AMC or GameStop?
Yeah, I made like $1,000 off of GameStop, and I think I lost $100 on AMC.
Yeah, I actually did a little speculative play. I was like, AMC's so stupid, so I bought like a $200 put on AMC, and I actually lost everything because like
Really?
I was like, oh, the stock's gonna go down after this pump, and no, just the money freaking evaporated. I was like, all right, whatever, it's speculation, $200, which is what I recommend. It's like if you want to screw around, don't be putting the vast majority of your portfolio in these stupid stocks that people are pumping.
So I've never bought crypto. I've never done any sort of futures contracts, puts, calls. Never shorted a stock. I've never been into gold or silver. Just straight boring old stocks.
Well, I mean, everybody says stock mutual funds are boring, but I mean, look how much you've saved over just like probably a decade of working and living frugally. You don't need to do any of that crap.
Yeah, I had a couple notes written down too. So like my work has an option, have a free cell phone. The downside, I guess, is they can like take it and look through it anytime they want. So I've been with this company 4.5 years. I have not had a phone bill the entire time. So I'm like, yep, I'll take the free crappy phone. Like, I don't care. And I think I'm the only person at work that takes advantage of that. And they've never once like said, oh, can I look through your phone?
So basically, the whole, I mean, as long as you're frugal, because like you can always find ways to save money, like you said, with your phone. It's just a little sacrifice. You're not going to have a super nice phone, but it's a free freaking phone.
Yeah, dude. I think I remember on one of your videos, I couldn't tell if the guy was sincere or just trolling. Like you showed your phone or something on a couple of videos, and guys like, look at this guy. He's an iPhone 6. What a loser.
No, so that's how I identify people that don't understand money. Because if they criticize you for having like a crappy car or a cheap phone, it's like, yeah, I didn't spend money on an expensive phone, and that's why I was able to put more money into my Roth. But I don't think a lot of people don't get that. They associate wealth with having nice freaking crap, which is a bunch of BS.
I'm kind of the opposite. So I had a 1979 Trans Am and the old Smokey and the Bandit like hot rod car. I sold that. I sold an old SKS I never shot. I sold a kayak I never used.
You talking about that? Talking about that baby over there?
Yeah, looks like it. The bayonet and everything.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I can show that. YouTube might cancel me right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold that.
I'll hide it.
So I canceled my Netflix subscription and moved that to a gym membership, which is the same price, and I'm getting a lot more use out of that. But anyway, back to the stocks. Jeremy Lefebvre, Tesla. I had to get on the Tesla hype. I got caught, man.
Everybody got caught, man. Like if you're watching YouTube a year ago, every freaking person was pumping Tesla. Everybody. So I mean, I'm not surprised that you got swept up in it. I thought about it, but I was like, I just hate this stock. I was close.
It was by far the most expensive single share purchase. So this was pre-split. They split 5-1. So pre-split, I bought at the top at like $800, and I'm like, what an idiot! What am I doing? So
you were actually very smart.
Yeah, and then they did the 5-1 split, and then it ran back up to 800, and I sold at 800 again. So I'm like, short-term gains. But I was like, I'm done.
Did you get a long-term capital gain on that too?
I don't think so.
Oh, I mean, even then, you still 5x'd basically. Yeah. So even if you have a short-term capital gain, that's still you probably 3x'd after taxes, which is still pretty good.
One company I do like that Jeremy pumped because I've been there is his marijuana store, but it just says a pure like weed spec plays at Planet 13.
Oh, you gotta go see Jay Nagy's videos. Like I've never smoked weed in my life because I'm a goody two shoes.
Yeah, I haven't smoked in probably 12 years.
I like it's because I've been in the Army. But if I ever got out of all the services and the government, maybe I do want to try it, but I can't. But yeah, go watch Jay Nagy because he's not a huge fan of.
I watched some of his when I don't think I finished it, but he was doing like a discounted cash flow analysis on it. I think was that the one.
Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah. And plus, he thinks people like once it gets legalized, people are just going to buy it from Walmart.
I get that, but also like because I went to the store, we went to Vegas, and we used one of our federal free money stimulus checks, and we blew it in Vegas. Like all free.
Reviving
like,
the economy right there, you know?
Yeah. Like, there's a few things I do spend money on. It's travel. And when we go places, I like to tip well to waiters and servers and such. So like we had all this money and it was so cheap to fly out there and get the hotel. Anyway, so we go and check the Planet 13. And again, I don't smoke pot, but I like the smell of it. It was a cool atmosphere. The store was awesome. And then I'm in Tampa, Florida, by the way. So I read that they got a license to open some stores here, Tampa, Orlando, Miami. I would like to see that business thrive for sure. I bought some around $2.50 and sold out at $5.20.
Woo! So it's about 2x right there.
Yeah, and I will get back on if it's gone down, because he actually put out a video that knocked the new California store and it drove the price down big time. It was at like $7, and he released this video like, oh, it's not busy, something, and like it's just crazy how bad easily he can manipulate these small cap stocks. And
it's true. Like all these big YouTubers like me, Kevin, and Jeremy, they can move these stocks, which is, I don't know why they're not coming under scrutiny from the government, because that's literally pump and dump right there.
Yeah, he did another pot company. It changed symbols. It was called GGTF or something, and you can literally go in the history and see where it spiked. And by that time I had stayed away. But the Planet, I might get back in if it goes down a little more. Just I'm feeling a little uncertainty with the market towards the end of the year, So I'm just
well, the whole freaking market is crazy. That's why I'm globally diversified, because the U.S. stock market, especially large caps, are freaking terrifying.
I actually had a full head of hair before I started doing it.
I mean, it's the stress of Tesla. You don't know if it's going to go up 5x or crash to 0.
Yeah, dude. And I really enjoyed your GM Tesla valuation video. That was good. Like, and it just puts into context how crazily overvalued they are.
Yeah, like I don't care how much Tesla stock goes up. At the end of the day, they are a car company and they make a fraction of even one automaker. So it's like I don't get it, I don't get how that stock can be so elevated. There's so much like hype built into it. I think there's going to be a devastating crash, or maybe like the stock will just trade flat for years. I just don't see how it can keep going up even more. I mean, I could be wrong because there's enough fanboys out there, but
yeah, but I don't know. So I think those are the only two. I tried the TTCF food before, because that came into our local Target. And
tattooed nutsack, is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
oh, sorry. Tattooed nutsack. Yeah.
Tattooed nutsack. Come on, man.
That was the chapter of your book I didn't read.
I have a whole chapter dedicated to tattooed nutsack.
Volume 2, it coming out. Yeah.
So that'll be my revision.
So like, yeah, nasty food, overpriced.
So which one did you get? Or like, yeah, what kind of food did you get?
The cauliflower rice goo.
Yeah, it's like most people that bought that stock probably haven't even tried the freaking food, But if you go buy it, just like you said, it's a freaking ripoff. It's $5 plus tax, and you get this crappy little bowl that's, I don't know, full of like salt and whatever.
High sodium, like high fat with the cheese, and then I think I sent you an email or something. Someone I StockTwits is like, oh, this is PFSE #1, the plastic, which is like the worst one to be putting in microwaves.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So do you have to like pay a subscription for StockTwits, or can you get on there for free?
You can get on there for free.
Yeah, because I want to get on, like, whenever I post a video making fun of a stock, I just want to get on there and post it on the channel just to screw with people.
So here's the funny thing. So I was on this. I love it's so toxic in there because it's all like day traders and pumpers, and as long as you know that, it's entertainment. Like, I wouldn't recommend anybody going there for actual financial advice, but I mean, sometimes they can share articles, and when earnings come out, they'll share them right away. So it's fun. But I went on Tattooed Chef. I was bored at work the other day. Like, let me go troll some of these soy boys.
This stock is the future. Everybody's going to be a soy boy.
So one guy's like, honest question. I have not seen one bearish post or something. Please post. So I was like, negative $53 million revenue, whatever the stat was for something else. I was like, negative this, negative that, share dilution. This guy's coming out like, there's no share dilution. So I took a screenshot of the SEC report and said, right here, share dilution. And he reported me to StockTwits for stock manipulation of spreading false rumors. So I get an email from the StockTwits saying, like a warning, like if you've been flagged for stock manipulation, spreading false rumors, if you continue.
That is so stupid. So you actually look at the financial statements and you get flagged.
So I responded to StockTwits. I was like, all I did was, and I kept saying that all I'm doing is posting pictures of the SEC filings. So StockTwits comes back. So like, well, you have to show proof of your blah, blah, blah. So okay, here are the pictures. I haven't heard anything since. So, but dude,
yeah, you find out you're banned. It's like, you're not allowed to look at the 10K. Come on. That's manipulation. But Jeremy can, pump up a bunch of random penny stocks. Oh, that's fine. That's okay.
So insecure. And like, dude, I hope they go to the moon and people make money, man. Like, middle-class retail people are my people. It's fine. But like, it's the fact that it's being pumped so hard. And like, people just need to be wary. And like all these guys' channels, all you got to do is say, this is Jeremy, right? Every video he comes in. Like, this is entertainment purposes only. Something like that, man.
This is not financial advice. Go buy this stock. Okay. Yeah.
And the fact that he charged, all these guys have their like little discords and shit. Like, it's fine for entertainment purposes. Like, I like some of Jeremy's older videos a lot, but when it's just like, it's so annoying. Like,
yeah, I'm actually going to start making a bunch of tattooed chef videos just to and I'm going to make the most outrageous claims, because what I've realized is you don't have to say anything truthful on YouTube. You just have to be extremely obnoxious or be like super for or against the stock, and you just get a bunch of views. So that's what I'm going to do, just as kind of like a joke. But I think it'll be fun to experiment and be like, oh, tattooed chef will be $1 by next week, and then see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Your ad revenue will probably go up because everybody will be like, look at what this guy says.
Yeah, I've always felt like I've always been tempted to like sell out, and just pump a bunch of random penny stocks and, make millions of dollars off YouTube. There's always that temptation, you have to fight it.
And like, I don't know how these guys started. There's so many of them. So the one I watched today of you making fun of the guys in Savannah, never heard of them before. What was their channel called?
Alpha Status Stocks.
So all they do is pump like junk penny stocks, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and like I looked at their first video. It was a bunch of penny stocks, and all of them either ran up and then crashed or just never went up. And they were like, "Oh, it's gonna 12x from here." It's so easy to call these guys out. I don't know why people don't do their due diligence.
Yes, that video is hilarious because it starts out with like them two on a beach, like drinking a can of Corona or something. Like, oh wow, you really made it in life, bud. Like, you're in what, Tybee Island Beach, Georgia. Like, oh, that's awesome, dude. And then they go sit in front of their like single wide trailer, and I'm like, dude, these guys are living the life. Like, I'm putting my life savings into whatever these guys are pumping.
Well, a lot of people, like, they're just so ignorant about like wealth building. They get swept up in, oh, well, these guys, they just seem to know everything about stocks, and I'm just going to trust them blindly. That's how ignorant a lot of people are. They have no idea about mutual funds, index funds, Roths, 401ks, nothing.
I know, dude. Like, nobody, after all that's done, then go gamble your money away. Like, cool, but like nobody, I doubt. What do you think the percentage is of millennials, most of these people that watch these guys that have their tax advantage accounts maxed out before they go into their own brokerage?
Maxed? I would say less than 1%. I'll be perfectly honest. Because, I mean, yeah, a lot of them probably contribute to their tax advantage accounts, but millennials, number one, as a group, don't make that much yet.
Yeah.
And number two, there's no way in heck they're maxing it out, paying their freaking student loans and, their Robinhood contributions. There's just no way. So I would say less than 1%.
And it is a very, I think, tough to be that age, right? Like, if you got tons of student loan debt, the workforce doesn't pay well. Like, I feel for them a bit, but if you're going to go gamble on stupid shit, then you deserve whatever comes.
Yeah, like I always tell people, like if you make an average income and you have debt and you have just a little bit of money to save, you can't afford to freaking gamble that money away. You need to put that money into your tax advantage accounts. And then, like you said, once you max them out, okay, you have an extra $1,000, go buy crap coin or poop coin or whatever, you know?
Crypto, that's another.
So you've never bought crypto ever?
For what?
You don't want to be rich, bro? What's wrong with you?
Maybe I don't understand. This guy doesn't understand crypto.
You don't get it.
Yeah, that's okay. It's Sunday Night Football. We're the only 2 people here.
I know. We actually have 18 viewers. Can you believe that? I feel like I'm finally maturing into a real YouTube channel.
Wow.
Starting off with like me and Jay would go live and it'd be like nobody watching. Now, 17, 18 is like a freaking miracle.
So another issue with that is like, the term survivorship bias. Like, what's his name? Deep effing value from GameStop. Like, all you hear is all these people that make all this money, but you rarely hear the stories of like. Now, some people on Wall Street Bets love showing their loss porn, as they call it, but it's more, look at how much I made. Like, the people that lost money, you don't hear much about. And there's a really sad story. That kid that killed himself because he thought he owed Robinhood
like $700K. Yeah.
Yeah, this kid's name was Alex Kearns, like upper middle class, was home from college with his parents. He was only 20 years old. So how Robinhood let him trade, I think he let him trade on margin or something crazy. And he tried to reach out to him and they wouldn't respond. So he went and jumped in front of a freight train and killed himself. Like, that's tragic. Tragic and unnecessary. But
yeah, it's amazing to me that they let young kids that have no experience trade options. Like, if you write an options contract, you're obligated to spend lots of freaking money if you get exercised. So there's actually super high risk in options, which I guess they've tightened the controls a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Well, his parents are filing a wrongful death suit. I don't know how that's going, but I remember reading that headline that the parents trying to sue him. And then
they'll definitely get some money.
Yeah, as they should. The other one's like the castle in the air theory, which another good book. I don't know if you know this guy. He's part of like the Dave Ramsey team.
Yeah, I actually reviewed that book. He got fired because he cheated on his wife, but I don't know if you knew that.
Which one? One of these 2 books. You read a lot about the
yeah, that's a good book.
Very good, especially the beginning about like the tulip bulb craze in the Netherlands in like the 1500s and the South Sea bubble. Was it South Sea trade bubble? And the castle in the air theory, which it seems like most people are falling for. Like,
yeah, like Jeremy's like castle in the air. I'm like, I don't know what he calls like value or fundamental investing. But in the book, he actually says they're both BS. So he says the best thing to do is he does, because he says, well, with value investing, you still don't know the future. And with castle in the air, it's just, you're trading hype. That's why he says you should at least be, most people should be in, index funds. That's the point that I got from the book.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said Jeremy was saying that. I'm like, what? No.
Oh, no. Burton Outfield, Random Walk Down Wall Street.
Yeah.
Which, we'll see. I've bought some individual stocks, less than 5% of my portfolio. We'll see if I help.
Yeah. What was the other one? He kind of says why technical analysis don't believe in the fundamentals, because they're like, well, the fundamentals are already priced in, so I just want to look at the graph, which I guess makes sense. But I got another StockTwit mad at me because one of my favorite companies, In Mode, like, is just a beast. I think I'm up like 50 grand on In Mode. It's my best performing stock. So this guy's like, oh, this has been running up. According to this technical analysis, it's going to be dropping. I'm like, you don't know this company. I've never seen you on this page before. And I quoted Peter Lynch by saying, what is it? Charts are only good at predicting the past. He got all upset with me.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, if charts were so predictable, I think it would kind of be canceled out because everybody would know what to look for. That's kind of like, I think even Burton Malkiel mentions that in his book. It's
Yep.
like if everybody knows the trick or the secret doesn't work anymore because everybody's figured it out, and that secret gets priced out of the market. So
Yep.
that's why I think technical analysis is BS. It's like, whatever. If I think the stock's a good buy, I'm buying the freaking stock. I don't care about the stupid charts.
Yep. What about this guy?
So I've actually never read that book. Jay has read that book, but I do need to get around and read it.
Actually, I think I may have enjoyed this one more than Random Walk. But Peter Lynch, anyway, I really like Peter Lynch. This guy's a clown. I can't believe I was going through all my books.
I hate that guy. I'm gonna make a video about him. He actually released. There was a video pretty recently about like how to get wealthy or something, and he's like, you need to buy gold and be a real estate investor.
Yeah, he lost me.
It's like,
he lost me when he got to like leveraging all this debt for real estate. And I do have a friend in Colorado that does really good at this, but he spends his entire time with his real estate, but he's got long-term rentals, Airbnbs, and he uses leverage. And I think he's got a portfolio of $1 million or $2 million, and he's our age, maybe a year older. But I don't have the time, the risk.
You can make money in real estate. It's legit, but the thing is, a lot of people do it and a lot of people fail, and it's going to take up all of your freaking time. And if you screw up something, you're going to be in massive debt.
Yeah, my friend does all the work himself. Like, he knows how to remodel kitchens, bathrooms, stuff. So like, he saves a ton doing all that.
Yeah, I mean, if you like doing that, maybe you can try out real estate. But I'd rather just buy a world index, and that's all I have to do.
Yeah. See, I'm down to 5 stocks and 1 index fund in my brokerage account.
So what do you plan on shifting your investments to? Is it going to be VT or something else?
As far as the like 401k and the Roth, I actually bought my first 5 shares of VT last month, I think, in my Roth. Yes.
Yeah. So like, what about your 401k? Do they have any like index funds in there, or is it all actively managed?
No, I think there's like the target. What do you consider the target retirement date? That's like me. Are those active managed?
They could be, or they could not be. I mean, the target date is just like they just transition to bonds the older you get, but sometimes they're actively managed funds inside of them, and sometimes they're indexed. So I don't know. Is it Vanguard, or do you know?
The Vanguard target date funds, and they have a couple like international, and then like the big growth one is the one that I've been in for 2 years roughly, and that one has the highest expense ratio by far.
Yeah, because the Vanguard target retirement funds, it's literally VT in mutual fund form, and then it has bonds. So that's if you wanted to do that's an option to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm probably going to keep some of the FDGRX, but I might swap to one of them target date funds just to rest easier, because I think FDGRX is like a 36 PE right now, so it gets trading pretty rich. And or I'll hold it for the end of the year, because I think they pay like a capital gains distribution in December.
I'm terrified of the U.S. stock market. That's why, I mean, like, I'm invested in it, but because I had like a small cap fund and a real estate fund, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going total world so I can have more international, because I don't know, I'm not too bullish on U.S. stocks over the next 10 years. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I'm not as bullish as far as the next year or so. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to find anything. I'm sitting on a bunch of cash again, because in my brokerage account, because I'm like, either something needs to dip, which like it's not, but I also own 2 turds that I despise. Well, I like the companies, but the stock has just been, I think one's down. They're both down like 20 or 30% over the year still.
What stocks are these? Maybe it's time to buy.
Man, I've been averaging down both for a while. I think I bought another 50 shares of Rocket Companies.
Rocket. Is that a mortgage lender, or what is that?
Actually, Rocket Companies is like a basket of like 15 companies that all have to do with like Yeah, mortgage sector, stuff like that. They IPO'd last year. They're trading below IPO. They are cash positive. They have like revenue in the billions. I can't pull off the numbers right now, but dude, like I had such good conviction for this company because I also used them for my refinance back in the day, and they were fantastic. They're all over TV ads, radio ads. Got these sponsored golf tournaments. I was watching a college game yesterday, and this brought to you by Rocket Companies or Rocket Mortgage. And I'm like, this is the worst investment of my life.
Well, it may be for now, but it's just like Alibaba. Like I have a pretty high conviction on that stock, but I'm down like 15, 20, 25%. But in the long run, it's like, okay, I think the sell-off is BS. I think the long run, the company's going to do well. So, I mean, if you really believe in the company, you can just hold it and wait.
Yeah. So they're, if you don't know the history, they did a Wall Street bets pump, which I think ruined the stock. Like back in March of this year, it went from like $20 to $40 in a day.
Is it because it's called Rocket? Is that why they bought it?
Probably. So stupid. Right? And it crashed immediately because that was actually the day of my birthday, and I got drunk that night, which I'm also not recommending cutting out alcohol out of your life because it's a gigantic waste of money and time. So I slept in, and it crashed right back down. I was up like $8,000, and now I'm down like $3,000 or $4,000 on it.
Woo!
But here's an issue. Two more things about Rocket. Last quarter, they said they're going to initiate $1 billion worth of buybacks, which they've only done 8 million so far. So they still have 992 million worth of buybacks to do. So like, and it's kind of got a floor, and I think it's them buying it up like $16.50, $17. It'll come back up, but dude, there's not a lot of fans of Rocket left. Another issue is that Dan Gilbert, the founder, owns 95% of all shares. I don't know any other company like that. So like the float is only like extreme. The float's only like 5% of the actual shares outstanding. So like this one, and I think that's why Wall Street hates it, because like Dan Gilbert owns 95%, and the reason for it was to use it for acquisitions or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I might actually look into it. Like if you think it's a solid company, I might actually look. Especially if it's down now.
Oh,
I mean, dude, that's the time to buy if it's actually a good company, you know?
Yeah, I like the company. They do a lot of like charity work stuff. They're huge, but they're still taking like market share year over year. But I think another reason too is like their profits and revenue are expected to go down in the next few quarters. But they just launched Rocket Auto a few weeks ago, which is another one of their like companies under their umbrella.
Do you have Everything Money? Like, do you use that to evaluate stocks at all? Their software.
I've been watching you do some, and that looks really good.
Yeah, I wish I could share my sheet, everybody, but I really think they would probably sue me because it's literally like a 100% replica of what they have. But if you want to use the stuff, it's $26 a month.
I'm so beat up on Rocket. I'm to the point it's like whatever. Like I have 1,200 shares with an average of like $19.50, and I think it dipped below 17 on Friday. It's just
worst case, if you sell it, you have a capital loss, and you can actually reduce your taxable income or your capital gains for the year. So
yeah, because I have 20 grand in long-term capital gains I got to pay, in 5 grand. Sorry, not that much to pay, but I have $20,000 in capital gains,
taxable gains, and then
taxable gains, and then 5 grand short term. So like I'm gonna have a nasty tax bill come next year.
Yeah, that's one of the things nobody talks about either, and like that's why I'm so big on freaking tax advantage accounts, is because nobody talks about capital gains, which severely reduce your returns.
Yeah, so the big thing I sold last year was the long term was when oil was not popular and everyone was crapping on oil. I put 10 grand into SSL, SSL. They're oil, gas, chemical, plastic, yada yada manufacturer based out of South Africa. They also got some stuff in Australia, Canada. I think a chemical plant in Louisiana. I got in at like my average was like $5. I sold at 15, so that was the 20 grand. Yeah, that was the 20 grand from that.
Your daddy big bucks over here.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with my negative 20% BABA. That's about it.
And my other red one's GAN, GAN, Game Account Networks. I think they're under $1 billion market cap now. It's a software company for online gaming. They can go to land-based casinos and say, hey, we can put you online or mobile, blah, blah, blah. They got a lot of other stuff too, sports betting, yada, yada. But that's my sports betting play. I'm not a big gambler, but I don't even remember how I fell into it. But that's my second largest holding, and I think I'm down like $3,000 on that one too.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to lose. You're not going to be right every time. But like I said, if you truly believe in the company, then just hold it and let it go. Yeah. Worst case, because you can always re-examine the fundamentals, and if you realize you were wrong, then just sell out of it.
I mean, I'm still bullish on them. The revenue is up like 300% year over year. So they made more. They made more just revenue last quarter than all of last year. They acquired another company. They opened up a Miami office for all the software developer people. They're hiring a bunch of people. It's just they're not. They're close, but they're not making money yet.
They're not profiting.
No, man. I think they're the only company I have that's not.
Jeremy LaFufu put you onto this stock?
Nobody. It sounds like it. You should do it. If you did an analysis of GAN, you would be like, this company is garbage.
I mean, here's the thing. So I actually did one on Snapchat, and you can see they're going to be profitable. They have high gross margins. They're steadily, reducing their losses. So it's like, okay, maybe you could buy Snapchat. But a lot of these companies that they're pumping, they're not only losing money, but they're losing money at a higher rate every freaking year. That's where I'm like, heck no, I'm not touching that crap.
Yeah, so GAN, they stated a while back that they didn't expect to be profitable till maybe the end of this year, if not Q1 next year. So I'm done averaging down. I did have an average of 23, and I got it down to 1850. I've thrown money at that thing for 5 months. But you did a video on GNOG, I think, or one of them companies, them clowns in Savannah, mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's Golden Nugget.
So there's a lot of these smaller players, right? And that one got acquired by DraftKings, I think. So or it's a possibility that GAN gets acquired by, I don't know.
I mean, if it's a beaten down stock, that's a distinct possibility because that means the company's cheaper, obviously. So
yeah, I think it might only be a $750 billion market cap or something. So yeah, that one. One, two, in mode. Said's my big winner. Palantir I got rid of with a small gain. I have one. What's your opinion on REITs? I have one REIT that
I'm not against REITs. I mean, they've actually outperformed historically, at least in the recent past. Obviously, except for the real estate crash, and we all know when that happened. But you have to hold them in tax advantage accounts because they're very high dividend payers. And they're unqualified dividends, which means you're going to pay out the butt for taxes. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that preferential tax rate. So nothing wrong with them. If you want to buy them, just put them inside your Roth or your 401k if they have a REIT fund.
Yeah. Unfortunately, mine's in my brokerage because another fact I didn't think of when I bought it. But that, and then I got a shipping line called Zim that's doing well. That's a recent investment right in my alley. So one of our customers at my work, an Israeli shipping line. And I didn't realize I went public back in January for $10. Now they're around 60. I'm like, how did I miss that? I was too busy following foo-foo and not paying attention what's right in front of me.
You were blinded by tattooed nutsack. It was just.
I know, dude. I had nutsack in the face. I couldn't freaking.
If I saw a tattooed nutsack, I would have to look at it. You know what I'm saying? It can be very distracting. All right, you want to do a little bit of comments? I think some people are adding their 2 cents. So we have the independent investor in the house. This guy actually has a pretty decent YouTube channel. And don't worry, man. Somebody showed me the video where you mentioned me in your live stream. I'm not going to attack you, okay? I'm too busy dumping on frauds like Jeremy LaFufu. So somebody called us salty and jealous of Meet Kevin. Are you salty about Meet Kevin?
No, I just whatever, good for him, but I just don't see the lure what he provides. Other than just simple entertainment. I guess.
Yeah, let's see if anybody has anything insightful to say. Jeremy bought Coinbase IPO at 400.
I remember that. I think I watched that video, and then the next day he's like,
what is Coinbase at now? Like 250?
I don't even know or care really.
If anything, if it has anything to do with crypto, I'm not freaking buying it. I don't care how good the fundamentals are. It only takes one bear market for crypto, and those companies can get annihilated.
Yeah, or some whale to sell off everything.
Oh, the whales in the UK stock market. Do I look British to you?
Actually, the gaming company I've been talking about is based out of the UK.
GAN, you said?
GAN, yeah. If you want to look into it, if you want to lose money like me, then you can look into it.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, well, if it's been down, maybe it's a good buy. You don't know.
Hey, there's some people on StockTwits. Shout out to my StockTwits crew if I share this video with them, Billy and everybody. So,
I'm sure they'd love me. I seem to be a fan of a lot of the stocks they love on there.
No, like the GAN StockTwits is like the same 12 people, but some of them in there have like millions of dollars invested in that company, and some are just like, this is fine, it's volatile, but it'll pay off. I
would feel more comfortable investing lots of money in a company that nobody's really talking about that actually has good fundamentals instead of these stupid hype stocks.
They don't have any debt, so the balance sheet is good, which is almost my number one priority. I look at they can have good income and stuff, but if I usually see bad current ratio under 1, and I'm like, yeah, don't like it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that company out. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Corsair is not a terrible play. PE is under 20 and they produce RAM. Yeah, I agree. Corsair is not a bad play. I mean, you need to figure out when you would want to buy it. I'd probably buy it at like $22, $23 if it ever went down there.
I just don't know much about it. I just usually when I see 100 YouTubers talking about the same one, I just become a little weary. But hey, if it's cool, you're a customer. What do they do? Make consoles or something?
Yeah, well, they make they provide high-end computer equipment, and then you can buy stuff to customize your game setup.
It's a pretty big market. A lot of people are into that.
Yeah, the only thing I was worried about with Corsair was I was like, well, we had the lockdowns and all the revenue shot up, and I was like, is that sustainable? I don't know. So that's the risk with Corsair. Hello, bro. I'm in love with VT. Well, Alexander, if you're in love with VT, I'm in love with you. SPLG and some individual. What is SPLG again? Do you know what that is?
I do not.
Individual stocks, good fundamentals.
SPLG.
Slug.
Oh, I don't know Stockmo or Stinkmo or whatever.
Stinkmo. It's an S&P 500 fund.
Oh, yeah, there you go. A lot of these guys I don't know unless I watch your videos making fun of them.
To be honest, I didn't know any of these dudes existed, and then Jay Nagy turned me on to Jeremy Lafufu, and then from there, I learned about all the other clowns. And I've heard of I always knew about Graham Stephan, but I didn't have a problem with him.
Yeah, he was all right for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean he's like a basic generic. Oh, how to save money?
It's good though. I'd rather have.
Yeah, he's much better. But I knew about Meet Kevin, but I always thought he was kind of he's always rubbed me the wrong way, and now I really am looking into him. I think he's a scumbag. Stinkmo's, you can go watch Stockmo. He's a freaking moron. GGTTF, is that the weed company you were talking about?
So he did these videos that were what the term an Easter egg is? A little hint or clue. So I gotta go back and find these. It'd be great because he would flash on the screen real quick. You had to go to 0.25 speed and you would see a screenshot of Yahoo's GGTTF. And then he would write something on the screen, have a great day, but he misspelled great as GGTTF. These scammy things that people picked up on. But he's like, oh, I can't talk about this new stock because the market cap's so low. But he would leave all these little Easter eggs that people found. And if they got in early enough, they were fine. I'm wondering if he took them down or not.
Yeah, if you can find it, or if somebody can find that video, I would send that to the SEC in a heartbeat. Yeah. I want him to go down. Tattooed nutsack to the moon, 100%. Who the hell is this guy?
The big nobody.
We're all nobodies here. So this is a guy that saved a ton of money, and he didn't buy any. Well, he hasn't bought many stocks, but he mostly just maxes his tax advantage accounts. I just wanted to show you clowns that don't believe me that if you live below your means and max your tax advantage accounts, you can save a ton of money.
Yeah, Turner.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, Turner? Where the hell is Jay Noddy? He's dead. He drank himself to death. StockTwits is so toxic.
I agree.
Yeah, I need to get on that just to troll people. The only beauty of StockTwits is how many people are following the ticker. Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Can you make a Tattooed Chef video every time he goes to emphasize how he pumps it? I'm going to make a ton of them and just make outrageous claims just for fun. All right, see if there's any more. Have you heard of DM stock? DM. Is that Desktop Metal? I think he's been asking me to make a video on that. I think it's like a 3D printer company.
Yeah, Desktop Metal. I've never looked into them.
Turner, oh, he likes you. That's nice.
I like you too, man. Sorry, I'm not on YouTube. I'm not cool. I got a crappy, normal blue collar job I gotta go to. Not pumping.
Yeah. The only reason I'm on YouTube is because I'm like, I work from home and I'm like, all right, I'm off work. I'm literally here. Okay, I have time to make a YouTube video. But if I was working, like going out, I'd probably be freaking exhausted. Wouldn't have time to make these videos.
Well, I'm glad you do. They're entertaining.
I'm here for you, okay? Make sure, if you see any ads from like people that I hate, make sure you watch the full ad so they get charged. Stockman Personal Finance. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, I think we're about to close this out. Do you have any final comments, words of wisdom for my fans, my loyal fans about how to build wealth? You're on the spot.
Be frugal. Don't buy the latest car. Don't buy a Tesla. Don't buy new clothes all the time. I don't know. It's just buy junk vehicles. They're the best. You can cut people off in traffic and they'll move out of the way. Like cheap insurance. Stay out of debt. Live below your means. Within your means, below your... What was it? Live within your means. Below your means. Whatever.
Is that a Dave Ramsey quote?
I don't remember. It might be Suzanne Orman or whatever her name is.
Oh, we got a donation. Wow. £5. Buy 10 shares of DTTF. You know what, Kazaprod? I can't promise you that, okay?
Hey, there is a UK YouTuber I used to watch. I have JKR Investing. He's pretty decent. When he started doing Tattooed Chef, I stopped following him. He's got a slow, not a whole lot of followers, but he's a decent guy to watch if you're in the UK.
JK Rowling?
No, JKR Investing.
All right, so y'all, if you've stayed to the end, thank you. But let's all thank Regis. He has a ton of money. He has more money than me, and that's not fair. You're not allowed to have more money than me. But he saved a ton of money because he didn't buy expensive crap, and he maxed his tax advantage accounts. And he's a middle-class guy. So I don't want to hear any crap from you clowns. Oh, you can't get rich with a middle-class income or buying meme stocks because you're full of crap.
Yep. Watch where your money goes, too, you know. Every Dollar is a really good app where you can just set your budget. Every time you spend money on something, put it in there. See what you got at the end of the month. Yeah, just don't listen to Dave Ramsey about houses, but everything else is pretty good. And Google, I don't know. Just double check these YouTube people if they're pumping stuff. Cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to go. I might have some beer, maybe. I'll think about it. I got to go cook dinner and get my ass to bed here pretty soon. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. If you ever want to come on again, let me know. Yeah, or if you ever have anybody else that, you think you would ever do this again with somebody that's kind of followed the same path, that'd be cool, too. Sounds good. All right, man. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Yep. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody.